Welcome everyone to some other it's Sunday, let's talk. So greetings to the world. Let's sit down, get some coffee and talk modern IPOs. You might have read it in the news. GitLab reaches 15 billion market cap. Shares jumped 35% after its IPO there, traditional IPO. Crazy stuff if you ask me. I shortly wanted to talk about this, and if you have any comments and questions, leave them down there below while we are live or later. So you probably all the software here on my channel have used GitHub, GitLab, and let's say start here is operating fully remotely or whatever. Built its developer tools without any physical office, whatever, something. So company went public on Thursday, Nasdaq under ticker GitLab, price 7, whatever. And up 35%, giving GitLab a market cap of nearly 15 billion. And I wanted to say that it's just outright crazy, if not pretty scammy, if you ask me. And I shortly wanted to talk about this. So why do I think this is crazy, right? I mean, they have a couple of customers. So the crazy things, I mean, they are not even having that many customers and income and revenue, right? They even here they write somewhere income, revenue, somewhere they had revenue, where was it? With a revenue of 58 million, right? In its previous quarter, up 69% year over year. I also don't see how their revenue goes that much further up. Who wants to pay for this GitLab and hosting stuff? And so this is so crazy. How should they ever make that much money? It's also just one Git thing, right? Git and other continuous integration and other management tools, okay. But yeah, Linus Torvalds copies there some BitKeeper or what that was, some Git, what we all use is open source stuff, and then other companies like, YOLO, let's make some billions with that. And I find this so frustrating, not only like valuating this random stuff so highly, also the usual stuff of making money with open source. And sure, they have written some web management stuff around this, but yeah, some 100 million, okay, but billion, seriously? And this is a problem with a lot of those, right? So this is, the story of this is here some first Ukrainian unicorn, aka startup thing here. Remote work leading evangelists, and yeah, so far so good. But if you look on all the others, right, they're not the only one, biggest tech IPOs, and you might be surprised. So GitLab, of course, here also Amplitude, analytics software, Toast provides various software products for restaurant owners, and even here, many of those. Maybe not each, but many of those stories are totally crazy. Even those here, software products to restaurant owners, even only in the United States, I mean, not even freaking worldwide. And valuing the company at 20 billion, I mean, 20 billion for freaking somewhat nearly would say lousy. I mean, I didn't see it personally, but just some freaking good old-fashioned restaurant management stuff. And the crazy thing is, despite the pandemic, shares continued to rise by as much as 56%. And that is even Boston-based US customers had to ride out a tough pandemic where it slashed employee numbers and saw transaction volumes plummet. That's like, slashed employee numbers, saw transaction volumes plummet, and yet 56% up to with an implied valuation of 31 billion. It's like for freaking restaurant software. I mean, and how much software and revenue? I mean, how long should they operate at? Like 1,000 years to ever get this? Makes this money. Freshworks, enterprise software, ToughWorks, consultancy. Nearly 9 billion. Have you even ever heard about those? I did not. Whatever, PayPal is its customers. ForgeRock, Couchbase, NoSQL database specialist. And so the crazy thing is it's not even one, right? I mean, all of them are totally overvalued. Yeah, let's go a little bit further through those buys. UK fintech, 8 billion. Why is this here? Why is this in? This dollar. 8 billion pounds, $11 billion. And this is also, yeah, UK fintech success story. Sentinel-1, cybersecurity, and yeah, Monday.com of all, which probably all have heard with some YouTube and stuff advertising. And you really wonder that such workplace management stuff, I mean, sure, a lot of people, especially with all this marketing, use that, but 7.6 billion is seriously. And ZipRecruiter, Squarespace, website builder, founded out of some university room. It's like, yes, 30, pulling in a net income 30. So how much? So this is the story of all of them. So valuing the company, freaking website building stuff, right? 6.4 billion. Also, imagine. So, I mean, my honest evaluation of all of those is like some 100 million, not like billion, only realistic valuation from me. I'm not a financial expert, just some random business manager, open source guy with a YouTube channel. Honestly, they make here, for example, pulling in net income, Squarespace 30 million in the last financial year, in a freaking year, right? I mean, how can they freaking be valued 6.4 billion if they have a net income of 30.6 million? This is crazy, right? How many years should they operate like this? This is not even net profit. And the SUSE and you know it all, Linux. So some Linux distribution valued 5 billion. At least, well, yeah, making money with open source, right? At least they have a freaking Linux distribution like ourselves. I would maybe, not sure what their income situation, revenue and stuff is. Maybe I would value them a little bit higher because, yeah, also, yeah, whatever, it's just Linux distribution of the 1,898 Linux distributions, of course, by one of the bigger and more professional. And Darktrace, UK cybersecurity company Darktrace, shares rising by as much as 43% on the first day, valuing around 2.4 billion pound. And that is crazy, and that the cybersecurity still grappling with an association with founding investor Mike Lynch, who faces extradition to the US over charges of fraud related to Hewlett-Packard's 11 billion acquisition of his company Autonomy. It's like, yeah, nice fellows there of alleged fraud. And so what many of those have in common, that their income, okay, they have only income there. Revenue, income, 30, did they not have more for, no, Genevice, revenue, maybe I tapped this. So here Darktrace, revenue of almost 200 million, almost 200 million in revenue in latest financial year, running a small so a profit of 9 only, so making a revenue of 200 million, at least many others don't even make a freaking profit, right? But a freaking profit of only 9 million, but valued 2.4 billion. The other have a similar story, UiPath, or how to pronounce it or whatever. Okay, at least they had here customers including the likes of some clinic which uses UiPath software to register patients for testing sites, automatically print labels, and yeah, also state-of-the-art software in 2001, right? Freaking registration software that also automatically prints labels. I thought we did this since the 80s, but maybe those investors don't know. Revenue of, so what many of them in common have a small revenue. So this UiPath, one of the higher, at least they have 608 million, but running a narrow net loss, also narrow, only 92. I mean, who would not want to have a net loss of narrow, only 92 million. So most of them have a net loss. Coinbase, also yeah, Coinbase. This valuation is crazy. 85, valuing the company at 85.8 billion. Freaking Coinbase for some freaking, what is also some people, don't get me started on crypto coins, but Coinbase made 1.3 billion last financial year, up from 534. Also, sometimes they might be inflated, right? We had this at VWorks, I think, according to some articles. Previous video, right? Get me started on VWorks. Are they even still? Maybe we check this later. But Coinbase made 1.3 billion, running a profit of 322 million after losing 30 million in 2019. Sprinkler revenue of 387 million, financial year at a net loss of 41 million, yet valuated at 4 billion. Like, seriously, dude, what the freaking heck is wrong with all those? And it's not a new thing, right? I mean, this goes on for decades. Here they have 2020, McAfee, Palantir, Palantir of almost 21 billion. Asana, Sumo Logic, Snowflake, JFrog, Rackspace. By the way, Rackspace, did they not previously buy the leftovers of SGI? But anyway, Lemonade, also yeah, amazing names, right? InsurTech, Pioneer, Lemon. So yeah, I didn't even hear about those, right? Anyway, not the customer. ZoomInfo, Shift for Payments, Exasol, Kings of Cloud. Yeah, a lot of stuff I never heard, but also Airbnb maybe, but somehow I don't have this in the list. And so their revenue, often McAfee made a profit. Only 31 million profit of 1.4 billion on revenues of 1.4 billion in the first half, though. So that would be 2.8 billion a year, and I don't know. Yeah, very little profit, right? But maybe all the managers take all the profit home. So pass often. 743 million at a loss of, so I mean, this is also crazy, right? Was this Palantir? Solid market debut with an reporting a loss. This is so crazy, right? Financial stuff. Solid market debut, reporting a loss of 576 million. 700. I mean, how can you even? This is also so crazy. I mean, I couldn't even operate my company with 743 million in revenue at a loss of 576 million. How can you even make such? I mean, sure, investment building stuff up. What do they have here with a net loss of somehow? I'm not sure why the search is so strange. Revenue reached. Yes, this is also crazy, right? Lemonade revenue reached 67 million in 2019 with a net loss of, so they lose 109 freaking million for the unprofitable company, right? This is so crazy. Shares doubling during the first day of trading. It's like, what is wrong with those people? I don't even have a net loss. I lose my mind when you read those numbers, right? Crazy stuff. Totally overvalued. And this also critical thinking. This is certainly going on for decades. This is not a new thing. This is certainly since the previous .net, .com bubbles bursted. But I also wonder how we want to continue to run a worldwide society on this kind of other scams. I mean, what would you want to call that, right? This overvalued stuff, this sort of kinder often looks to me like a kinder, like also, I mean, WeWork, are they still in business even? rework generated, operated by something. What is that even? Whatever. Did they even officially? They had their lots of creative accounting. Get ready for some creative accounting. I called this out in a previous, more live IT news thing. Not even to start with this. Elizabeth also Holmes. What is it? Theranos. So, however true. Lawsuit, right? Are they even probably? Are they bankrupt? It start to lose over. Typo. It's raised, net loss, rise and fall. I'm not even sure what happened with that kind of, shutting down. They are apparently shutting down. Good that we fact check that. Now a similar scam lawsuit there. What remains? Crazy stuff. And I really wonder why people still fall for that and how that even can still a thing after over 20 plus years of this overvalued stuff. The picture probably here, I'm not even sure, this picture shows it all, right? A big party, now with all those billions. I really wonder how long this can still go on before that entirely bursts, how we want to continue to run our worldwide society with this kind of scams getting away and influencing worldwide markets and people's life. And for me, I also wonder, thankfully my company, privately owned, and for 15 years profitable, not in billions, but profitable enough, not like making a net loss like others. I wonder if I should also try that, right? I mean, maybe I'm too honest so far, have been. Maybe I should also just try to make some stupid startup, some website builder. I mean, why do I even do some fancy professional scanning software that people actually can use for something, and other such business software and a Linux distribution? Why do I do serious stuff when you can just scam people out of billions, right? Maybe I should just start a second company, like find some fancy name like Lemonade or stuff. Create some fancy power slides, run to some investors, and sell them some pipe dream that can be valued some millions and later billions. Could be anything, right, from European made, probably still too serious and too professional to like European made RISC-V process stuff. Of course, there are European programs about that, I know that. Also, a little bit everything is a kitchen thing. Could also be like selling them some next generation, what my dream is anyway, microkernel stuff. Of course, there have been others, but there also have been other website builders, right? But probably even thinking something as serious as make a world-class real-time microkernel thing like QNX and modern stuff. I mean, obviously there has been stuff before, right? Similarly, there have been website builders, right? There has been most of the stuff there has been before, right? Also GitLab, we have GitHub, right? What is even, I think I had here somewhere, maybe I closed it. GitHub, what is there? Around value, it's a company approximately 2 billion. This was in 2015. What is there? Also, GitLab, not the only ones. We also have GitHub. Also, this is so crazy, right? You don't open source version control system, not enough. You need two plus probably others. Companies fighting about their most commercial front end. This is 2018, so revenue 200 to 300 million. Market cap, do they have that here? Not even sure, are they? Hard to keep overview with whatever. But most of the stuff, I mean, even the names are stupid, like Amplitude, some Super chats, highly appreciated. Love, work and passion. Linux needs love as always. Yeah, highly appreciated. Thank you for that. Certainly closer to my first million. Yeah, I mean, the names alone are not even outstanding, right? Toast, Freshworks is like, seriously, for so many billions, you didn't have a freaking better name. This is kind of sort of our Exact name is Exact and Exact Scan. I said this before, right? Even our name, this was the 20s idea, right? We had like generic code because we were like in C++ and like static typing and more formal, verified and more stable, like stuff that more like just works every day and all the broken, otherwise broken stuff. Hey, Exact code is even a combination of two words, right? And not like those here of like just, although okay, Freshworks are two, but Toast is one, Amplitude, what else did we have? Couchbase, Wise, Confluence, Sprinkler, Monday.com. It's like, yeah, seriously. Not even the names are usually amazing. But yeah, even if I would like ideas where maybe I should just like take a quarter off and just float ideas to investors and try to score some millions, because why not? Like my next hobby, instead of YouTubing and waiting for super chats and stuff and subscriptions, it's like, hey, one quarter floating ideas to investors to cash in some millions to burn with some net loss. Sounds like a good plan, right? What all those companies are doing. But even then, if some next best ideas that floating around here, like super Scala out of order RISC-V processor, sure, High Five and stuff are doing this, but yeah, who stops me from doing the same? Could even, like, I don't know, micro kernel optimized or AI optimized usual stuff. Like next generation secure microkernel stuff, but even that is even too serious, right? Probably investors more likely invest into probably fintech stuff, restaurants. Yeah, I mean, not there are probably, how many companies are out there with restaurant management software? Probably 1,000, 10,000. There's probably so many small shops with or like, yeah, database and stuff. Even the previous list, what did we have? Snowflake, thank you very much. Asana, Palantir. Yeah, I mean, you could even, as here with this Palantir, right? I mean, what stops me except not wanting to participate into the scams, right? Maybe I should just like sell some, pretend to, or I mean, cash in the millions and then of course really do it. Not like pretend like Elizabeth Holmes, but like really do it, not like fake it in the lab, but really build some like next generation, like, yeah, like kernel in Rust, sure, there is ReduxOS, but like marketing some next generation, highly reliable, secure kernel operating system in Rust, or firewall, like listing all the recurring security stuff to investors. Now, we have a next generation security product here, much better than everyone else because written from scratch in Rust or some stuff. Maybe that can catch some millions, just some throwing here some ideas into the YouTube universe. Possibilities are endless, certainly, and maybe I should just do it because, yeah, what do you think? I probably should check in the comments. But this is really so crazy, right? There's so much money on random. I mean, not even. I mean, if it would be Tesla, I would. I mean, Tesla's market cap. Tesla's market cap is also crazy. There's some hundreds billions. I just checked this before the video. 834. I mean, that is unreasonable to me. I mean, 100. That I would value like 100 billions, but this is also crazy that so many people invested so much into that, because if you compare this like with Volkswagen, of course, the 121, but they certainly have, so 121 to 800, so this is it even the right comma of billions? Yeah, so is this market cap apparently, if that is correct, like 7 times that of Volkswagen maybe? I mean, maybe double or triple, but yeah, even that is somewhat crazy. And you would think that something like Tesla, or actually I wanted SpaceX, Valuation of 100 billion. So yeah, I would value, I mean, even Tesla is too high valued. This is a little bit crazy. Certainly higher than Monday.com, but 800 billion or so, I don't know, that looks a little bit crazy to me. And SpaceX, that is certainly more in a reasonable range. But if you compare that to, like, I mean, all these numbers are crazy, right? This are just like, what is it? 12 Monday.coms. So it's like, that's, yeah. Let's see, we had some comments. So yeah, welcome everyone. Just wanted to, yeah, Sunday real talk of this is just, all of this is just crazy. But maybe I'm just too serious. Let's see. People comment, investment funds pump money into them, maybe. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, this. But where should this money come from, right? Ever in 100 years, especially for those companies that operate at a net loss. Alexander, right? It's not a scam; it's an investment opportunity. Yeah, each scam is an investment opportunity, right? That's why small companies get snapped up. Big companies want their IP. It's a life hack. Why make some good product when you can make a cryptic scam? Squarespace loading time be like, nah. Squarespace advertises itself a lot on tech channels. Yeah, I've certainly seen that. Squarespace. But this is not the same as Wix, right? This Wix is also so crazy. That is probably another company, I guess. They are down, by the way, market. They have a market cap of 10 billion US dollar. Israeli company providing cloud-based web service. What is even their, okay, their revenue is, but this is also so crazy how you need for like a HTML5 website hosting and mobile site, how you need 5,000 employees for freaking HTML. I also don't see this fully. 5,000 employees for freaking HTML software and cloud-based development stuff. Like, why? For what? And okay, at least they have 1 billion revenue. So, but what is there? Do we have? Yeah, this all is. There is even macro trends. What do they say? What is it here? So they have a negative net income, if I see that correctly. Annual quarterly net income history, growth rate. So they grew their negative net income as far as I mostly accept here. So yeah, cool. They cool stuff. So they had here up to negative net income of 0, so 248 million. Is it quarter or is it year? This these are quarters according to the label there. So they make, let's see, in 2020, so they had minus 100, so 1, 2, 3, oh, cool stuff. So nearly 100 million, over 100 million, so probably 500 million net loss as far as my rough eyeballing goes for that. So in case you're wondering if that is a good investment opportunity. Yeah, but with needing, this is also crazy stuff, right? How do you need 5,000 freaking employees to run an HTML development service website hosting thing with $1 billion in revenue and still making, by the way, the crazy thing is, how do you even, if you have, that was 1 billion, right? 1 billion US dollar revenue. So that is 1 million. 1, 2, 3. So we have, that's a billion. And divided that by, what, 5,000 employees? So that would be 200,000 per employee, I guess, approximately. Probably not, I get that. Yeah, in case you're wondering, just a ballpark. Yeah, crazy stuff. I have no words to this anymore. So all of this is so crazy. And why I don't even hold shares of any of this. I once, 10 years ago, I had some Apple shares and ARM shares. Ironically, the Apple shares, I brought the Apple shares like 10 or 12 years ago, and then they crashed quite a bit, and it needed like 2 years for the freaking Apple shares to recover again. So after 2 years, I freaking sold them, and they finally went plus with, wasn't even that much, it was like 5,000 euros, something, Apple shares. And I made 3 crosses in the calendar after 2 years, and I sold them with some hundreds of thousand euro profit or something. And then I was done with them. At ARM as well, had some ARM shares at the same time, maybe 500 euro, just some testing the stock stuff, not as popular for normal people in Europe as it is in the USA. Tested that a little bit. It was annoying. You buy Apple shares and then they crash, and then it needs 2 years to recover. And it's like, yeah, 3 crosses in the calendar and selling the stuff again. Since then, I didn't have the time. Although, yeah, of course, in retrospect, I should have kept the freaking Apple shares. Probably, yeah, would have made some good money after 10 years. Of course, not that much, 5,000 euro plus the profits since then, but you can also not always keep your money 10 years in Apple shares. Anyway, so what do we have there? Squarespace advertisers, yeah, we had this. Have you checked out AI ideas? Yeah, so the problem is AI, yeah, so we could, another like venture capital stuff, maybe I should do more of that, maybe that would be more successful than my scan software, my Linux distribution, or my YouTube channel, or it will be as unsuccessful. Maybe there is a silver lining going through all of that, but maybe I should just try it for the fun of it. I would say maybe it needs clever people, like people suited up and knowing how to talk to investors for them to convince it, and luck and being at the right place at the right moment and stuff. Because 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when we founded our company, we tried to get some startup funding in Germany. And in 2006, that was super difficult, right? In the end, we got next to nothing. And all the banks and people involved into that were all not interested at that time in Germany. I heard now in the newspapers always written, yeah, startups in the new Silicon Valley, Germany, Berlin, whatever, like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. It was awful for us. I doubt it will be that much better. It's always in the newspaper, everything is amazing, and in reality, yeah. We were not really successful. It's also, I found this really waste of time writing on business plans and PowerPoint presentations for weeks, going to banks who need to fill out or need to process for whatever startup support stuff there was at the time, like some 50%. It wasn't even that amazing, right? Stuff like there were programs like 50% of the salary for people from university or stuff, but even that we didn't get right. 2 people start up there in 2006, and it's like, yeah, YOLO, whatever, not interested. Also, honestly, total fail that a freaking bank needs to process this, because a freaking bank, like the rule back in the day was you're like banks that you use, like your operational banks that you have needs to process this stuff, and they were simply not interested, right? So you talk here with normal bank people who, like normal bank guys and girls who have completely no connection to startups and financing and stuff. Like they do regular business with normal people all day long, and they should process that. They had zero interest, zero motivation, and the only thing they at the end wanted us to pass to some angel investors, like, yeah, YOLO, whatever, that was not what we wanted, right? We wanted to apply to that specific government-supported program thing, and that's like, yeah, nobody was interested. Anyway, so much to that. I still have nightmares from wasting my time writing business plans and PowerPoint stuff. That all was for nothing, was for the trash can. Anyway, crazy stuff. Let me know your thoughts, even if you watch this later. We can probably continue on the more left channel, right? If you're new to this stuff, I usually otherwise do other, not like low-level in-depth financing, which is like, yeah, this was only a rough overview. What I see from an outside of all the numbers don't make sense. They don't add up. It looks as amazing as how do you even pronounce this? Theranos or so. And VWorks, right, is previous video. Oh man, my typing. My typing also degenerates like this finances. So yeah, creative accounting, you might heard about this, you probably want to read that of, yeah, or crazy, some might consider scammy stuff. Allegedly, so I've read, according to this news, not that there's US. Anyway, yeah, let's continue some similar, not scammy startup stuff on the More Life channel, some maybe final Linux testing to do. And otherwise, I hope you learned something. And if you watch this later in the archive and stuff, leave in the comments below what you think to all this creative financing. And similar, but one last thing, similar to, I hear people in the US complaining about the housing market, certainly. And it even exploded in Germany, right? Berlin housing market was relatively cheap for German standards, like Munich, Hamburg and stuff. Stuttgart, way more expensive. Berlin became certainly also doubled and tripled, especially since 2000, the last 20 years. Yeah, prices exploded. So 20 years ago, Berlin was cheap. Nowadays, well, compared to Munich and London, it's still cheaper, but yeah, skyrocketed also. But in the US, it's of course usually even more crazy. And I wonder, similar to their millenniums and so on, have a hard time to finance a house at all or ever. And for me, this is similar, right? The housing prices there, especially in the US, and this startup stuff, similar bubbles where I wonder how long can this continue? Why is this even still a thing? Why did this bubble not burst? Except maybe this bubble only didn't burst because the rich people pulling the strings in the background and having all the hundreds of billions are playing the threats and investments in the background so that they don't lose their investments. So learning their lesson from the big .com bubble, when was it? Was it 2000? It was it 2000? It's a long time ago. So maybe they just peak in March 2000, only to fall 78% from its peak by October 2002. There you have it. Maybe those people with this really big money, those top 1% or so, maybe they just play the cards so that it doesn't burst again and they remain, and they don't lose any of their $100 billion investments and stuff. Because from the outside, as a normal guy, it looks like it should have long bursted, and it's impossible to run an economy on that kind of investments and negative net income. But you tell me in the comments below. Maybe one last check on the comments here. Trader electrician, use service made for the software, can't even use an Android device because it dev only taught within limited capacity. Housing prices are crazy here in Norway as well. Was lucky enough that my grandmother died right time. That sounds horrible though. Something young people should, which isn't something, yeah. New York housing bubble is insane. Yeah, I've seen Luz Rossman, so I certainly know that story. House is no longer a place to live, but an achievement which is like guaranteed to make profit. At least you could look in rural areas in Germany. Didn't have bit internet there. Yeah, maybe you can use space access Starlink there. This is really set though. Internet, even here it sucks with also focus. Yeah. Need to stream with 2.3 Mbit because with more we get drop frames with failing Vodafone garbage infrastructure in the heart of Europe and the capital of Germany. Two streets from the frame is Kudam, Vodafone DOCSIS failing infrastructure sucks so much that we regularly have outages and usually get not even stable 3 Mbit from our promised 50 Mbit. So yeah, if it's that bad in the capital, then for sure it's even worse in the rural areas. That is certainly really sad. Anyway, that's it for this video. Crazy financial news, and I don't even want to read that anymore, right? I mean, the crazy thing is you read the stuff, it's like, dude, this is so stupid. Anyway, hope to see you next time.